A 7'4", inside-out scorer like we've never before seen dominate in the French league. A 6'3", high IQ athletic point guard built like a linebacker from the G League. And a pair of 6'7" twins with the most athleticism in the class, dominating the OTE league. Is the college route going out of style? Brandon Miller is here to say, hell no it's not. The 2023 draft class, one of the most berserk, talent-filled classes we've seen in years, has a 6'9" small forward who would like to have a word about his draft spot, and boy, does he have a case. Before we get into who people tout as the next Paul George, Eurostep on the like button, please don't pump fake me on the subscribe button and turn up on those post notifications. We're more than halfway to the 500 bomb for subscribers, so keep it up, Dash and Hoop family. Much love as always. Taking it back to the high school days, Brandon Miller made his mark on the scene, winning back-to-back Tennessee Gatorade Player of the Year awards, averaging 24.8 points per game, 8 boards, 3.3 assists, 2.2 steals, and 2 blocks on almost 55% from the field in his award-winning years. Exhibiting his absurd three-point shooting ability with a knockdown 44% shooting through his high school career, extremely useful length on defense, and will look to be an athlete with insane posters. With all factors considered, Miller was a consensus 5-star recruit who could go anywhere he wanted in the country and was even seriously considered joining the Australian NBL League, but ultimately fell in love with the campus of Alabama after his visit. And this proved to be a great decision for the Tennessee native. Well, mostly, guns aside, Miller came shooting the lights out. Carrying over his unconscious shot-making ability, he gave us a show with his 40% clip from behind the arc. Being able to stretch the floor has made his teammates' job so easy over the course of the year, allowing him to truly exhibit his phenomenal defensive capabilities with all the extra energy. Although he only averaged about a block and a steal per game this season, the amount of shots that he affected was remarkable. With an absurd wingspan that I somehow couldn't find after scouring the internet, I genuinely think he could have a Mikal Bridges-like effect out there on the NBA level, with his ability to disrupt passing lanes and affect shots at the rim. And we can't talk about Brandon Miller without talking about his handles either. Being able to use his 200 pounds of muscle, putting his body between his defender and the ball, spinning and splitting in between double teams, it's always art to see someone that tall and lengthy with that kind of handle on the rock. The last aspect of his game that I'm a big fan of is his improvement on his playmaking ability. Initially, scouts said one of their biggest knocks on him was his inability to get teammates open looks due to never being in a role where he wasn't the pure scorer. Miller seems to have understood that just 2 assists a game won't cut it when it comes to winning big games, as we've seen that in his SEC semifinals, SEC finals, and the first round of the tourney. He averaged about 4.5 assists to get W's, with the entire defense's focus on his scoring ability. With this being said, we do have to address the strangely low athleticism that comes from Brandon Miller. There have been many times in games where Miller seems to get stuck when making his attack at the rim. This is one of the only issues I have with people giving Brandon Miller that, Paul George comparison, because although he has a poster, here and there, it is nothing like the bounce we saw from the Fresno State phenom. I understand, it is asking a lot for a lockdown, sharp shooting small forward with a string on the ball to also have a 40-inch vert, but I do think this is what might hold him back from being a true megastar. So to recap, Brandon Miller is a lengthy 6'9" small forward with a beautiful handle, an absolute bucket from behind the arc, all the capabilities in the world to be a lockdown defender who lacks the true athleticism we're used to seeing from the best of the best. With this in mind, I think he could be a third option for a championship team, or the best player for a mid to low level tier playoff team. My player comparison is Cameron Johnson on steroids? But what do you think, Dash and Hoop fans? Am I too low? Too high on our man Miller? Do you think that the Paul George comparisons are more likely what we'll see? Would you rather Scoot or Miller? You let me know down in the comments below, Dash and Hoop fans. And as always, y'all have a phenomenal rest of your day.